Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Woo! It's a beautiful weekend here, and I know it's very beautiful with you there too. Wow, this is Family Robust. Our mandate is every family must experience what is called robust. You know what it means? Robust, enjoyment galore, each free. Yeah, that's what our mandate is. I am Janet Ajobiewe. I am your family coach. God has sent me as a rescue agent on a global mission. Yeah. So wherever we need to be, we're always there. We'll be there. Yeah. Wow. Good evening again and again. Oh, in case you're not in the evening, wherever location you are watching me from, oh, let me just say good day. Good day. And to my French viewers, bonjour, bonjour. Thank you. You just cope with us on pending when we'll be able to interpret to you in French. So please bear with us. I have in the house now, my moderator is here, Angel Wale Adeyemi. And guess who is here again? Our guest. Our guest is here. Wow, he's a very lovely man. Let me just hint you with something. I spoke with his wife yesterday and his lovely children. Wow, I love it when a man has a happy home. That is what is called robust. Family robust. And guess, really loaded. He's really loaded. Really loaded for today. It's our men's edition, Father's Day edition. I know you're already preparing to celebrate your man. Yeah. Let me bring in my moderator so that you can see his face again. I believe you have been expecting her. She will moderate today very wonderfully. I hope Angel Wale is set. I know she's set. Always set. Always set. My moderator is here. Good evening, Angel. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for
You're
having me
welcome.
again. You know,
God bless
sometimes
you.
the way you introduce me, I'm tempted to forget what I want to say. Still want to bask in the euphoria of the praise singing. So, be coming down for me. Be coming down. Be coming down, but
Don't worry, you deserve it. You deserve it. And our host, in fact, it will be a drum roll for him to come in. Drum
oh my God.
roll. Wow. Should we
We
bring
give God
him
praise
in?
for this rare privilege again. It's the month of June, and of course, we are
Yes,
celebrating the men, our unsung heroes. A number of times,
yes.
men complain that children see more of the efforts of the mothers, of the women, and don't see what they do background. So we're trying to bring those background activities to the fore
Hmm.
so that children and wives too will get to see, oh, these are men are actually our superheroes. And we have a superhero in the house tonight who's going to be talking to us. A superhero speaking to superheroes. Yeah, he
Yes.
will be demystifying a phase in life of most men. Sometimes they don't even know they are going through a phase. So he will demystify, create an awareness, walk them through the phase, provide possible solutions to that particular phase. It's an exciting
Yes.
evening. It promises to be an awesome session. Trust me.
So, drum roll for our guest. The superhero is here. Woo! Welcome, sir. Ooh, drum
Hi.
rolls.
Oh,
You're
all right.
welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a Pleasure to be here. I'm glad. Thank you for inviting me. This is beautiful. I love what you're doing. And
Thank you, sir.
wow, this is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, for those who are not aware, um, our guest, we've just been saying our guest, our guest, our guest. Let me just do a brief intro of our guest tonight. His name is Dr. Olujide Arije. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you got that right.
All right. Okay. Dr. Arija is a consultant public health physician at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital in Ileife. He's also a research fellow at the Institute of Public Health at Obafemi Awolowo University. And the very interesting part of it is that for the past 10 years, he's been associate pastor of GLT International Church and more recently, the executive director of Christian Food Aid International. He is happily married and they are blessed with wonderful children. Just a superhero that we
Children.
have in the house. It's a very beautiful balance. A man of God preferring, just like you say, we care, God heals. God has put him to care, and through him, healing will come. Are we not blessed to have him tonight? Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Arije.
Thank you very much. I'm pretty
Thank you for
grateful.
coming.
And yeah, I look forward to this discussion and conversations we'll be having today.
Okay, for the topic of today, we chose midlife crisis, the myth and the fact. For some people, they don't even know what a midlife crisis is. Some people might be hearing this term for the very first time. They just know that at some point in their life, probably as they're going on now, they are not enjoying the things that they used to do, things that used to give them fun, probably their wife's company, or they are no longer give them that kind of fun. Sometimes they just lose interest. There's this sense of guilt, this sense of worthlessness, and they are wondering, what's wrong with me? Some even have suicidal thoughts. So, doctor, please walk us through what exactly is midlife crisis? Who are those prone to midlife crisis?
All right, thank you very much. So let's start with some introduction. Midlife, what is midlife? I think we should start from there. Midlife is the stage of life of anybody from the point where you're fully established as an adult to just before you are considered an elderly. So, from a public health point of view, we consider um, young adults to be up to 24. So, from 24 and above, they are well matured adults in that sense. And then WHO considers anybody above 60 to be elderly. So you can look at midlife as typically the year that comes between 30 and 70. At the core, 40 and 60. So essentially, midlife is that time between before you're after you're established fully as an adult, independent, and then just before you're elderly. So at the core of it is 40 between 40 to 60, but you could extend it further, 30 to 70. What's a crisis? A crisis is an unstable situation of extreme danger or difficulty. So when something is out of place, and it's going to lead to a terrible outcome. That's a crisis situation. All right. So it's also a crucial stage or a turning point. So crisis could be a positive thing or a negative thing. So when we bring the concept of midlife and crisis together, then we can say that midlife crises are situations of extreme danger that occur in that year of between 30 and 70 or 40 and 60. Now, the reason why people talk about midlife crisis is that they tend to associate peculiar events to that period. All right. That time should be the most creative, the most productive period of a man. He's independent, is matured. Maybe he earns, he started working, he has control over his finances. Maybe he has started his own family and all that. So he's independent of all the attachment that he used to have. So there are certain expectations, and then when those expectations are not met, there seems to be a crisis. However, I must say something, and I want to be clear about this. Midlife crisis is a perception of decline in life satisfaction during midlife, a feeling that you're not doing as much as you really want to do or you expect yourself to do. Now, this demand can be personal, it can be societal demand, it can be family demand. But at the core, and that is something that is important for us to note, at the core is that it is a perception. That's one thing I want us to underline. It's a perception. And a perception can be real. It can be real, it can be unreal, all right? But it's a perception. And being a perception, it is more of a psychological situation than a medical situation. So midlife crisis technically is not a medical condition, it's a psychological condition, all right? And then because, again, apart from, because some of those things tend to happen to people in that age group, it has become a social construct. It's like you see young people and say, oh, young people dress in this certain way. So that is how they consider young people. Maybe in the young age, that's when you look for relationship and you are, dating and all of that. There are certain things that are associated with being young. Now, there are certain things that are associated with being in the midlife. So when society places that demand on you and you're not meeting up to it, then there is a perception, because we are products of our environment, right? Our family, our immediate family, our community, and society at large, whatever community we belong to. So a product of a concentric cycle: family, community, nation, all right? That's what produces us. So at the core of it, midlife crisis is a perception of decline in life satisfaction. Now, what are the things that would cause crisis for a man in that age? Usually, sometimes it's a feeling of transition from adulthood to old age, where you can do less. So there's a feeling of unsatisfaction with self, of unfulfilled dreams, a sense of unfulfillment. Sometimes it's a sense of underachievement. And you will see that people who tend to achieve their things in life, get things done, meet their personal milestones, they rarely have midlife crisis. So really, it's not a disease condition, but it's a societal construct. It's a perception, right? So a feeling of unfulfilled dreams, of a sense of unfulfillment, a sense of underachievement, all right? When people start having concerns about their legacy, okay, so I've lived for this long, what am I leaving behind? What am I leaving behind? So if the man sees himself as not building anything, not doing so much with his life, he starts to get into, oh my God, what is happening with me? What is happening with me? And when people get into that situation, when they start to criticize themselves negatively, then it starts to lead to a crisis. All right? So somebody said that it is, midlife is that crisis, that point of moving beyond youthful idealism, where all things are possible, to a contemplative pessimism where, oh my God, do I have enough time to do? Sometimes you got dreams that, oh, I want to do this, by this, I want to do this. And then you're 50 and you have not done the things you said you wanted to do at 30. Then it becomes somewhat like a crisis, right? And there might be a medical dimension to it, though it is not a medical condition. Often, it is in the midlife that many chronic illnesses make their first appearance. So you start seeing people with things like hypertension, all right? Hypertension, say diabetes, all right? Some of these chronic, non-communicable diseases that come up with age, or things like prostate-related challenges, all right? But those things are not necessarily, because there are people that have those conditions who do not have midlife crisis. All right, there are people that have those conditions who do, so they are not directly they do not directly cause midlife crisis. What in the final analysis causes midlife crisis is ability to bear under the pressure of the demands of yourself, your family, and the society. All right. So there's workplace demand, there's family demand, there's financial demand, there's demand for performance, there's demand for what am I leaving behind, there's demand for I don't have so much time left. My time is limited. All right. You're not like a child that can play all day. My time is limited. So those stressors come, and when they become an overload, there might be crisis. So stressors, and indeed, this midlife crisis situation that we're talking about is not just peculiar to men. It could also happen to women because it's not a, like I said, it's not a disease condition. It's a psychological condition, all right, which is often precipitated by one's resilience, ability to bear up under challenges, and the social and environmental situation around the person. So those are the things that lead to midlife crisis. So again, some
Okay,
men
thank you
amongst,
so much,
all right,
Dr. Arije. So,
all right, go ahead, please.
are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Please go ahead.
I think his network
Okay.
is fluctuating.
From what you have said, it is quite clear that midlife crisis is more external than internal. Is more of the pressure that men face from the outside. Just like you said, their inability to measure up to certain expectations. Now, and just like you said, it's more psychological than medical. How then should men deal with this pressure? Now we have, there's just some pressures that they can deal, that they have to deal with on a regular. Finances in the home. They have to deal with taking care of their immediate family. They have to deal with the pressure from work. How then do they mix? How then do they balance that up? I know you said that there's this expectation probably from society, from friends, from family. What's the thin line between, you know, yearning for excellence and actually yielding to external pressure?
Okay, so I'm going to address that, but I want to note something which perhaps is important before we address how to manage issues around midlife crisis. The midlife
Okay.
is not a bad period of one's life. Some people make the most um, improvement of their life, the most success in their midlife. For example, many people have increasing outcome when they come into midlife. They earn more. Life becomes better. Some people build their houses. They achieve things in their midlife. All right. People get wiser. Ability to speak, verbal ability, numerical ability, reasoning ability. So midlife is not a death sentence because life gets better for many people in midlife. And Bible talks about people who have learned to differentiate between good and evil by the reason of use. Midlife is that time when people start to make decisions. Okay, for example, I'm now going to start responding to your question. One of the things that is useful in living a healthy midlife is your diet. So, for example, a few years ago, I decided that I'm not going to take soft drink again. Maybe when I was 21 and 22, I might not have been able to make that decision. But as a man, I said, no, 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 no. I came to realization that why must I drink Coke every day? It doesn't make sense to me. So by the reason of knowing the difference between right and wrong, I say, okay, Coke, I'm cutting you off my diet. And for a number of years now, I've not put a bottle of Coke in my mouth. I made that decision. So we're talking about response. So one of the issues in managing midlife is number one, your health. All right. So I'm going to just talk about that so that I can deal with it and move away from it. So your health, issues around your health, your diet, the food you eat, the quantity and the quality. All right. Alcohol intake, sugar intake, habits that you have formed, health habits. All right. Um, Midlife it's a time to do medical checkup from time to time. Check your blood pressure. Check other things that your doctors would. All right. I said that very quickly to deal with it and move. I said, look, that is important. You need to deal with it so that you will be healthy. All right. You are not a 25 that can do certain things. You are now 45, 55. There's a limitation. So you cannot live the life that you used to live and expect to perform at that level. Your physical activities must, your diet and all of that must respond to the level of physical activity. So that's one. Number two is managing expectations. Managing expectations. All right. Now, um, the fact that there are things in your life that you have not yet achieved does not mean that you should die on the ill of unachievement. You know, there's something, and I'm going to use a lot of scriptures today, since I said this is not a medical condition, but more psychological. And scriptures speak a lot to some of the things that we will address. All right. Paul says something. He said that I do not count the things that are past. What do? I stand up, take up my and move forward. I move forward. I move forward. One thing every man must learn to do is leaving the past behind and moving forward. One of the reasons it's difficult for one of the reasons people accumulate psychological stress is they are unable to forget the errors of yesterday in order to move forward into the possibilities of tomorrow. Now, we have many examples of people who started late. There are several examples of people who started late. They got it right after 40. One good example is one that many people talk about: Kentucky Fried Chicken. The man that started that restaurant chain, he was a retired colonel in the U.S. Army. His life was already down, and then he picked it up and said, "Look, I can do something. I can do something." And he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, in nearly, of course, in Nigeria we have KFC. You can go if you have KFC in Nigeria. You can imagine the several other places there are KFC. So, how do you manage your expectation? One of the things is learn to put the things that are behind and move forward. Because yesterday is over. The promise of tomorrow, it is too bright. And there's something I like to say to people. I say that every new day is an opportunity to start afresh. Every new day is an opportunity to start afresh. All right. And see, and there's a Yoruba proverb, I'm going to say it in English, that it is when a man wakes up, that is his morning. Morning is when work starts. So if a man has been slumbering for 40 years and all of a sudden just came to himself and said, "What have I been doing in my life?" That is his morning. Let him wake up and move. And see, there's some of the promises of God that helps in this kind of times. The Bible says, for example, that God can do in one day what should take 1,000 years to occur. Can you imagine that? That means that if I wasted 10 years of my life and now I'm having this crisis, God can put all the things that should have happened 10 years ago and it will happen this very year. All right, so you manage expectation by leaving the past behind and moving forward. All right, how do you manage expectations? All right, discipline is very important. Discipline is very important. Early in life, personally, I developed the discipline of devotions. All right, so wake up early, pray, read Bible, then plan my day and work according to those plans. They have not always been effective, but it has always been productive. All right. So when people one of the reasons people go to crisis is because they have so many things left undone. Now, if you learn to discipline and put time for different aspects of your life, all right. So, for example, you say, okay, every Monday I'm going to do this. Maybe there's a book you want to write, or maybe there is a business you want to do. Maybe there's something you want to learn. Oh, Mondays I'm going to do it. Tuesdays. By the time you plan your life and you apply some discipline, you see that it's easier for you to manage the issues of life. Now, another thing is in midlife, we all need companionship. We all need friends. Your greatest companion for the man is your wife. You know, I nearly didn't get this live recording that we're doing. That was my wife that said, what's up? Are you not preparing for this? And I said, oh my God, all right, I've got to get going. Right. So I imagine that 20 years time, my wife will be there and tell me that, Family Robust is calling you again, or you have to come online. I said, oh, thank you, my dear. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So companionship is important. You need to invest into your relationship with your wife so that she'll be there for you through thick and thin. Our wives help us to navigate difficult times of our lives. Our wives help us to remember things. Our wives help us to manage different aspects of our life. All right. So that's very important. Also, a man needs a good friend. A good friend. The Bible says that there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. There is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. All right. You see, every man needs somebody to be able to discuss with and say, look, these are the things. And you see, for me, I have friends like that I can discuss deep things too. Sometimes, and I'll say this to men, many times we have the solution to the situation we're going through. It's just that we don't know how to go about it. So let me give an example. So I had this all kinds of things piled up. I had some issues concerning work. I had some issues concerning my personal life. I had some issues concerning ministry and all of that. So all of it was piled up and they were coming at the same time. And then I had some this that, oh my wife, this and that. Then I just said, look, my friend, let's talk. So I got my friend, my very close friend. His name is Wally. I got her and said, hey, Wally, we need to talk. And we talk a lot. So we went somewhere, we just went to gist and we're talking. So I gave him a lowdown of all the things that have been happening and how I was feeling and all of that. Do you know that after talking, my friend didn't really offer a solution. As I was talking, I was getting the solution to the situation. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do about this matter. For example, let me tell you a funny one. I've not told my wife this one. So sometimes in a hurry, sometimes the bed does not get laid. Maybe we're going early in the morning and, getting the kids and all of that. So I said, my wife not laid the bed. What's happening? So as I was talking to my friend, this I don't even like this. It just came to me that, Chairman, why don't you lay the bed? That's what I started doing though. And since I started doing that, I have peace in my life.
Wow, thank you.
I don't have peace in my life. I'm not told my wife this also. When she hears this, she'll come and I don't know what she will do. But sincerely,
she will hug you. She will not argue.
I just, because I like to see a neat room and all of that. So when it's not neat, I'm like, oh my God, why is this place like this? When I just talked to my friend did not tell me anything. I just said, look, this was happening. I don't even understand this. After I said everything, it just occurred to me, this man, why can't you lay the bed yourself? And that's how I started laying the bed. So once I see the bed late, and I don't say, don't come, don't late. Why did you? I stop asking those questions. And since that time, I've been having peace in that aspect. All right. So those are some of the things, little things that build up. And so we need friends, we need companionship, we need our wives, we need friends too. Okay, please stop me if you need to. I have a few more things that I want to mention. So you can stop.
Yes, I want to appreciate your wife, really. I appreciate the fact that you're celebrating her, and I'm sure people have actually learned from that. Instead of you to start complaining, you can actually take up such responsibilities. While you were talking about, solution and how to manage this midlife crisis, you talked about the diet, health checking, regular checking of the basics, and then managing expectation, discipline before you touch down on companionship. Now, I want to ask, what role does a man's wife, probably going through this psychological perception that we have tagged midlife crisis, what role does the man's wife play in helping him overcome this crisis?
Okay, the role that a man's wife will play in helping overcome crisis is to be a standby, is to stand by a man. You know, sometimes some of these crises are actually are sometimes brought up by demands from the wife. You know, expectations. The woman expects in our equity, you should have reached this level. Your mates are, and all of that. All right. But for a godly woman in whose husband is going through a crisis, the best that she can do, one of the things she can do is to stand by her, stand by him, to stand by him. You know, so um, like I narrated to you, the sometimes we don't need people to tell us what to do. We know what to do, but we just need a sounding board, somebody to hear, and it sounds bad because sometimes when we say the thing and it comes back to you, you're like, what I just said doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is the direction, right? So a man needs a woman needs to stand by her husband and um, understand what he's going through. What are the sources of that crisis? Is it financial, family? Is it work related? Is it health related? Or is it an internal thing? All right. Once that woman stands by her husband, then the man has one less hurdle to to climb, to cross. Because if the woman does not stand by, if the woman constitutes another challenge to the crisis that is ongoing, there's a bad situation. So the woman needs to stand by. Of course, the woman may not also know what to do or have all the solutions, but the woman also needs to pray for her husband, all right? Because with the help of God, we can resolve things. And then she needs to talk with her husband. Talk with her husband. Now, if it's this crisis is going into a critical point that she can handle, then she needs to reach out to people who can help them to handle. Of course, the people could be their pastors that they are both submitted to, that's the church they go, people that have oversight over them, or a professional counselor who can help um, help the man and the wife go through that situation. But above all, let every woman stand by her husband in the good and the bad times.
Okay, now you've just talked about the woman standing by her husband, talking with him. I wanted to ask that as a wife, how do you know if your man is this is just him, this is just his, maybe if he has those very funny, nasty characters, if this is just him or if he's going through a crisis? How do I know for sure that, okay, this man is just going through a phase and I need to stand by him, or if this is just him? Will I say symptoms now?
Okay, symptoms. Okay, so number
What are
one,
the things you expect in your
change of
home
mood.
that triggers?
Yeah. So change of mood, change of behavior, change of attitude. So some of these are maybe close to what will be symptoms of maybe depression, but change of mood, change of interest, just general change in liveliness, um, not inter- things that he used to be interested in, is no longer interested in, and then it may start to share some responsibilities. For example, he doesn't want to go to church again, or he doesn't want to
Mm-hmm.
some things that he will do ordinarily, and yeah, so those are some behavioral symptoms that may be seen, and um, sometimes also men may not disclose fully the things they may be going through. All right. So she would also have to be a bit discerning, but draw it out. Not pull it out, draw it out. If he asks today, oh, what's up? Oh, and if you notice that your husband that likes to maybe go to church on Sunday on midweek and say, I'm not even going today, John. I want to sleep. You don't have to say, have you vaccinated? No. What's happening? You're not usually like this. All right. And then draw it out until he says it and then she's able to understand what is happening. Yeah.
Okay. Now, drawing, you talked about speaking to someone that has authority over the couple. There is
Yes.
this thing that couples say they don't like third parties. They don't want third parties in their relationship. Whatever it is, we die here together. Let's not take our matters out. How then do you deal with a man who is not willing to listen to a third party, who doesn't have an authority figure that can speak to him? How then do you deal with that kind of man?
Oh, okay. So that's a very serious one, I would say, and I mean that shows the importance of, at the point of making decisions of marriage, the things we should consider. When married. But then this couple are in this situation, all right, and there is no somewhat like an authority figure or anything like that. There are two things that you have brought up. One is people that say they don't want to talk to a third party, and the second is a situation where there's no third party to talk to. So those are two situations, right? They don't want to talk to a third party, and then there's no third party to talk to. So let's address them one by one. So yeah, so you don't want to talk to a third party. That while that is not good enough, I would say the woman must continue to help her husband to, like I said, stand by, pass through this situation. All right. So one recommendation definitely is praying for the man, praying for the man that this man will open up and see the need to seek help. Yeah, some men, because of ego, they don't want to seek help. They don't want help from their wives. You understand? All right. While that is not good enough, the woman must persevere, and this is where she's going to show her love for a man. That, see, when I said I'm going to go through this with you through thick and thin. All right, but I'm not going to get to this point and say, oh, it's difficult, so I'm not doing anymore. That you should solve it yourself. All right, I'm going to stand by you and help you through this situation. And you see, when that decision to stand by, it will yield fruit. It will yield fruit. There's a Yoruba proverb that says that a nail that you strike and strike and strike, after a while it will enter. As long as you're striking it into wood, it will enter. See, that nail will enter. All right. Bible talks about love that suffers long. All right, that perseveres, doesn't give up, bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and believes all things. So it may take time. It will take longer. That's the longer route. All right. Don't want to talk to anybody. It's a longer route. Don't stand by. And particularly if the woman is not equipped to address the matter. All right. So, but she's going to stand by and persevere. All right. Of course, I'm not talking about a situation where there's an abusive relationship. That's a different matter. We're not talking about abuse. All right. There's no abuse in this matter. There's no abuse. We're just dealing with a situation where the man does not want help from a third party. That woman's going to stand by a man, pray for a man until he sees a need to get help or this problem is solved between the two of them. Now, the second one, which is the man, there's no third party to talk to. All right, there's no third party to talk to. There's nobody the man is subjected to. All right, is submitted to. All right, what about a friend? It's not a matter of submission, so it's a matter of influence. It's not just a matter of submission. It's not just a matter of authority over. It's a matter of, more importantly, a matter of influence. So are there people that can influence the man? What about the friend, a close friend, that if I talk to, as long as there's no contradiction, so it's not like they don't want to speak to a third party, but there's no third party they have identified to speak with. What about a close friend? What about a parent, a reasonable parent? All right, All right. What about a boss? All right. There are resources in our community. We don't live in islands. There are resources in our community. And prayerfully, we can find these resources and receive help as we need them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. That was actually very enlightening, especially for women who are watching right now. What they are supposed to do to stand by their man, pray for the man as well in case when you notice he's no longer interested in things that he used to do, especially going to church, praying. Now let's talk about this myth that I used to hear sometime back, that once you get into, okay, it's like a progression, that once you're approaching 40, then that means that you're a candidate of midlife crisis. And then once you're a candidate of midlife crisis, you somehow graduate to depression. So is that a myth, or does it have any fact related to it?
Okay, so let me answer the question like this. So for a young girl, once you're approaching puberty, then you're a candidate for teenage pregnancy. Now, so the question is, do all girls get teenage pregnancy? Yeah, of course, the answer is no. All right. So these are circumstantial situations. All right. So if you don't do the things that will cause teenage pregnancy for the young girl, she won't have teenage pregnancy. So also, if a man manages his affairs, sets his house in order, he will not have the experience that people call midlife crisis. So it's not a given. It's not something that everybody's going to pass through. So maybe you just see me one day and say, Dr. Arije, what's the matter? I say, don't mind me, I'm going through midlife crisis. There's nothing like that. All right. It's also it's a matter it's a matter of what an event in your life that's happening at that time of your life. So it's not necessarily age. Just that certain things are more likely to happen. For example, a person that suffers a job loss, all right, may be more likely to happen at that time, right? Person that suffers has a sense of unfulfillment, all right. A 21-year-old may not have a sense of unfulfillment, but a 50-year-old may have, all right, because he feels he's going old. For example, now look at, you can see me, I have white hair. It's not like I'm 50 or something, no, but so like I said, this man, why do you have so much white hair? Yeah, you're young, but so my mother or people around me said you have been reading too much, I do research and all of that. That's why you have so much white hair. So sometimes I used to question myself, this man, you're going old and you have to do things, you have to get this. But never will I get myself into a crisis point and put myself under pressure. All right, that hey, what's happening? No, I'm not achieved. No. Okay, so I didn't achieve yesterday, but what can I do with today? All right, so that's my attitude in life.
Okay, so tomorrow our guest will be speaking on depression though. So I just wanted to say that you have just demystified it. It's just a perception. It's just an expectation, sometimes unreasonable expectation
Yeah, it's
that
a
we have put upon
response.
ourselves.
Yeah, it's a response to certain activities in one's life. All right, that are peculiar to that age. All right, so it's a perceptual response to those kind of events. All right, and it has to do with mind because midlife has a lot of opportunities. For example, for me, I mean, I feel like I have so many things to do that I need extra time to do it. Like every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not thinking of, like okay, yesterday is gone. What can I do with today? That's the question. What can I achieve today to move forward? All right. So that's got to be the attitude that okay, yesterday is over. Let's do something with today.
Okay. Now, let me take this one before I hand over to Janet. Okay, now we've talked about how this situation affects the mood, affects behaviors, affects interest. Does midlife crisis, does it in any way affect the sexual health of a man?
Oh, okay. So sexuality, well, sex in terms of the physical actions of sex has to do with both biological, that's well, physical structures and psychological structures, all right, mind related things. All right. So if a man has psychological challenges, for example, if he just lost a deal, that maybe a deal of a lifetime, his interest probably will not be sex. All right. So that's one. So there's a psychological dimension to sexual prowess or desire for sex. That's one. The other thing is that there's a physical dimension to it, which is related to health. So we know that um, non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension affects um, the sexual performance of people. Now, if we put all of this together, what may lead to reduction in sexual prowess is multifactorial. So we need to identify what it is. All right. Obviously, if the crisis that the man is going through is causing psychological problems for him, then he may have um, reduction in his sexual performance. Of course, some people, and interestingly, it can also go the other way. So he may start to feel a feeling of crisis because he cannot perform as he used to perform previously. So that could be another source of crisis. So these things are working in both directions. So I do not put sexual performance and midlife crisis and say midlife crisis is equals to reduction in sexual performance. No, it's possible, but there are many things that intervene that make it less likely or more likely to occur. And some of those things I've talked about, the health status of the man, and then the mental health status, the physical health status and the mental health status. Those are two critical components that facilitates healthy sexual life. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Janet, you wanted to speak earlier. Probably I should allow you.
I just trust my moderator as she was just speaking all the English. Thank you, Dr. Arije. Thank you for this exposition on this thing called midlife crisis. You won't believe it that I've never had a teaching on anything midlife crisis. This is my first time. That was why I had to start listening like, let me learn myself, not only giving the public to learn. I myself need to learn. So this myth, this statement that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Please, can you help me to tell the people, to tell my audience that there is no fool at 40. There is no fool forever. Once you can take up your activity, you take up the charge for the day and work with it. Please, can you help me to demystify this myth?
Yes. So the reason that saying sometimes hit hard at people is because of a feeling of underachievement, right? Feeling that you've not done enough, as much as you could, or wasted opportunity. But like I said, sometime in the course of this discussion that we're having, that two things. I said every morning, every day is a new opportunity to start afresh. That's one. And then I said that the Yoruba say have the saying, and I'll say it in English, that anytime a man wakes up is his morning. So if a man comes to himself at 30, then he has woken up. And then, because morning is when we start work, then let him start work. All right. If a man comes to himself at 50, we may consider it late, but whatever he is able to do at 50, let him start it. All right. Because why do you weep about what is lost at the expense of what can be gained? Why do you cry over a milk that has been split and forget the one that is still in the cup? Tomorrow, too many things are possible. All right. Yes, time has been lost. All right. You are 40 and you have not done anything with your life. The question is, are you awake today? What can you do today to make a difference tomorrow? It's a saying that I love. I love this. I heard it in church or somewhere. I, I think it's in church or someone said it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The saying is this, or that God does not look at our past to advise us on our present. Rather, God looks at our future to tell us what to do
Yes.
today.
Mm.
There's too much ahead of us for us to cry over what has happened yesterday. So, forgetting things that are behind, I charge everyone listening to me today that forget the things that are behind. Stand up, carry your bread, and move forward. Because that one extra day that you're going to spend, one extra year, 2 extra years, or 10 extra years can make the difference in your life. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is so so perfect for you to say this evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Arije. There is more to be said. I know Dr. Arije is so loaded. Hey, Jesus, thank you for coming, sir. Ah,
Mm. He's been able to
Enjoy,
Yeah, can
please
I
do
say,
you
create
have,
a
do
balance.
you have
But
any
can I
other
say
thing?
one more thing? Can I say
Okay.
one more
no,
thing? Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So there's this thought that I was just playing with, and I discovered that life is meaningful when we impact other people. Life is meaningful for us when we have people that we have impacted behind us. And one of the ways of living a meaningful life is to invest in younger people. So
Hmm.
if a man feels that he has wasted his life in the past, let him look for younger people to bring up. Invest in your children, invest in your younger colleague, give people opportunities, train them, let them have opportunities to perform, let them see how things are done. Do as though you are preparing them to take your place. Your fulfillment will come. Your fulfillment will come as you pour yourself on people that are behind you. And then you stop focusing on yourself. The reason some people are having crisis because they focus on themselves. They focus on perceived failures. Why don't you use that energy and invest it on younger people? Bring them up. And by the time the people you bring up start performing, you'll be the most fulfilled person in life. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
wow,
See.
Dr. Arije, it has been an awesome session. It has been very balanced. It has you have spoken to the man, you have spoken to the
Hmm.
woman, you have spoken to society as well, and you have preferred solutions. I'm sure both men and women listening has they would have taken something. Just like you said, the reason why they're facing a crisis, what you just said, is because their focus is on that challenge. So you have just taught us now to take our eyes off the challenges that we are facing or that we are seeing, and rather focus on the good things that God is doing, and then we'll have a better life. You've taught us about diet. You've taught us about having a plan, about discipline, companionship, investing in your wife. Whoa. I read a book somewhere about a man that smells like a good wife. I might not be able to smell you, but you smell like a good wife. I celebrate her. She she might be watching. I celebrate her. You really smell like one. Thank you so much for your impact. And I want to say there are some people that, we've talked about people who, when they are facing this crisis, they tend to be dejected or, change of mood behaviors. There are some people, I just remembered some people, they tend to live carelessly. Can that also be as a result of these expectations that they didn't meet? Some people, because maybe they set a target to get married at 30, and at 35 they are not married, and so they begin to run loose.
All right.
Some people probably have. Okay, please go ahead.
The reality is that people respond to challenges in different ways. All right. So there are good coping habits and there are bad coping habits. All right. So the list of bad coping habits is endless. I mean, people may resort to say alcohol, all right, to substance abuse, um, to many other behaviors that could compromise the integrity of their body, their health, that might even worsen their situation. For example, starts to use really hard drugs and all of that. All right. So yes, there are, and if such people definitely will need help. Um, if the water is just in your knees, I mean your ankle, and you can't swim, if you've ever been to the beach and you stay where the water flows into the sand and goes back, you are not at any danger. But if you move a little closer and the water reaches your knee, then a little bit danger. But when the water reaches a point where your feet cannot touch the ground and you cannot swim, then trouble. All right. So when people go into those kind of have those kind of coping strategies that are detrimental to themselves, they need help. They need help, and the people that love them ought to help them get help. All right. Um, and for me, I find solace very much in my faith as a believer, as a Christian. And many of the things that will be challenges, I've used my faith to address it. Listening to God's word, praying, talking with friends who share the same godly principles. So one thing I can recommend is some of these people, they need to get faith. They need to find faith. They need to find something, make something meaningful, do something meaningful with their lives. They need to find meaning for their lives. And for me, faith is one way of finding meaning for them. So I recommend faith. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, and I highly recommend that to people who might be going through this kind of crisis, because when you're in the place where you cannot swim, your feet cannot touch the ground, you need someone to help you. Otherwise, water will take you away. So, bad coping strategies, not good. They need to get help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So grateful. So bad coping habits. So to the wives who feel that they are going to, we talked about the wife standing and supported. Support doesn't include feeding him with alcohol or supplying hard drugs. That's not support. You're destroying his life. So please, to the women who might be listening, you've just heard about it. It needs to find meaning. And like Doctor said, let us pray for our husbands. Primarily, we notice that they're going through this period, a hard time, probably they change, mood changes, loss of interest and all. Let us find time to pray for our husbands. Let's, set up an altar. And our God is a prayer answering God. It doesn't stop prayers. That I'm very, very confident of. I'm very, very sure. Thank you once again, Dr. Olujide Arije. It was a great honor having you on Family Robot. And I just want to, just one little request. I believe there are some people that will be coming up later to watch this session and that might be dropping questions on the page. I don't know, I believe Janet will tag you to some. If you could just help us reply to them and help them clear their doubts.
No problem. That'll be my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Let me just quickly read out some of the comments of of my people that are dropping. They said, I'm very glad to be a partaker. Someone says, glad to be here. Insightful discussion. This is. Someone says, very educative. Sir, I've learned a lot. Somebody says, I'm learning more, as if this should not end. These are just few from the Facebook users. The YouTube, I've not been able to check comment from the YouTube just now, but this is really great. Dr. Olujide Arije is loaded. Thank you very much. I appreciate God for your life, sir, and I salute that brain that has much to give us. Wow. The Lord will continue to replenish you, sir. He will replenish you abundantly. In fact, abundantly, in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much for coming.
Amen.
God bless you. God bless
Thank
you.
you very much.
Hey, okay. Angel will see at the other side. Huh? Oh,
Thank you very
Doctor,
much.
I won't stop thanking you. I won't stop thanking you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks,
God
thanks,
bless you,
thanks.
sir. God bless you
Thank
real
you,
good. Okay.
thank you very much.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye for now. God
Bye.
bless you. Woo! Please go and call everyone that has missed this session. Do your best. If you are listening now, do your best to help. This could be the only help you can render to someone. This could the only help you can. You never can. It's not written on our head that someone is going through the midlife crisis. No, but you can just bring them in. Let them come and learn themselves. They will even be able to know, oh, through the symptoms that Dr. Arije has given us, oh, this is midlife crisis. Oh, these are the myths, these are the facts. And, the way he broke things down for us to learn, oh, even if the person is not educated, oh, he or she can still learn more. I've always told you, Family Robust is not just a Facebook group. It's not that I don't have something doing and I open the group. This is a mandate. It's a mandate to help families. It's a mandate to help families and individuals. Bring your friends here. Let them come and partake. Once they are in this family, they can partake of this of this good, nourishing meal served at the table here. Wow. Thank you, everyone, for watching us today. Tomorrow is another great session. Woo! We have two wonderful, great personalities that will be coming tomorrow. Dr. Ayo Adenuga, all the way from United States of America. She's coming. Dr. Larry Modele, all the way from United Kingdom. Together, they are coming. Once you have great personalities, you know that they are well loaded. So tomorrow, I know you will not want to miss it. Oh, let me just tell you what they will be speaking on. The topic for tomorrow is evaluating depression and life expectancy in men. Come and learn. Invite your people to come and learn. Let them come and learn. Oh, Father, I thank you. Oh, today is great. If you know how happy I am. Oh, God. Okay, let me just release everyone from here now so that we can go and enjoy our weekend with our family. And don't forget, start planning. If you're a woman listening to me, start planning. What are the things, the surprise things you want to give to your man? Or you want to tell me you don't have a husband? It's only your husband that should be your man. Your father is there, your brother is there. Yeah, celebrate every man. Even if it's your neighbor, celebrate every man. Your friends, celebrate every man. They're worth it. We don't usually celebrate them like we ought to. Celebrate them. God bless you for watching. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., you can check the flyer. 6 p.m. in Burkina Faso, Ghana, Senegal, and the environs. Nigeria, 7 p.m. If you're watching from the UK, it's 7 p.m. From the United States of America, that's 2 p.m. From whatever side you are watching, just take the flyer. You know, when someone is overwhelmed with joy, you just keep talking. I don't want to live here. I don't want to leave this place. This family robust is sweetening me. Okay. Good night. Bye for now. Bye for now. See you tomorrow. Love you, love you, love you so much. God bless you.